You're listening to the Career Musician Podcast with creator and host, Nomad. With 20 plus years of experience in the music industry, Nomad has done just about everything to earn a living as a career musician. From being music director to celebrity artists, playing iconic arenas and stadiums, composing for film and TV, and even playing your average local club gigs, he's done it all. Nomad's mission is to empower musicians across the globe with strategies for a sustainable career while blasting stereotypes, and to bring you tried and true wisdom from his colleagues in this crazy business we call music.
Welcome to the Career Musician. On this episode, we have Brian Frasier-Moore, drummer to the stars and beyond, with credits that read like a who's who, including, but not limited to, Madonna, Justin Timberlake, Alicia Keys, Christina Aguilera, Janet Jackson, Usher, Babyface, Patti LaBelle, Toni Braxton, Queen Latifah, and a whole host of others, including television shows, movie and recording credits, and the list goes on. But also, he has his own signature snare drum series. Now, this is a very important piece of the puzzle as a career musician, and we talk about endorsement deals and how to approach them properly, amongst so many other things, as Brian Frasier-Moore really understands how to approach his career in music as a business person first, right here on the Career Musician Podcast. Brian Frasier-Moore, welcome to the Career Musician Podcast.
Man, thank you for having me. I finally made it here.
I know, exactly. You know what's crazy, man? We've known each other forever, it seems like.
Yes.
And we have such a similar mindset about, music and the business and how to conduct ourselves. So I just thought it made sense. I was like, I got to reach out to Brian and get him on the show.
Man, anytime, man. Anytime.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, man, give us the brief history, the rundown. Originally, you're from Philly, right?
Originally from Philadelphia, born and raised. Moved to Atlanta, Georgia for a little bit, and then met my wife, and she pulled me to the West Coast. That was it.
Nice. That's funny because we were talking not too long ago, and I wasn't sure if you were here or on the East Coast still. When did you move out here for good?
It's been about 10 years.
Okay. But I think you were one of the very few cats that was able to do something that's not so easy to do. You were working in the LA scene even when you weren't living here, because that's how we met.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that was a blessing. I mean, and at that time, music was popping just a little bit harder, than it is now. So we was in it, and we had a sound. So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about that, because it was you, Ethan Farmer, and Rob Lewis as a trio. I mean, there was nothing you guys weren't doing. It seemed like you were doing every gig.
Yeah, we was rolling together for a while, man. It was, I think we did Christina, we did Toni Braxton, right. And then that's when we all came together with Babyface.
Right.
So we was rolling together for a minute, man.
Yeah, so you guys had like this beautiful vibe together when I joined. So you guys didn't even have to look at each other on stage. You already knew where each cat was going. Like you could just feel it and sense it,
Isn't that the best? I mean, you got cats like that. And we had a band also. It was called the Movement Orchestra back then. So it was like we were always playing together all the time,
I remember that. So how long was the Movement together?
We was together for a minute. I'm just guessing. But I would guess maybe about 4 or 5 years, man, we were together.
Wow. And didn't you guys open up for a lot of the artists you were touring with?
We opened up for some artists, man. We lobbied for the opening spot to preview our music.
See, but you just said the magic word, lobbied. You know, like a lot of people don't understand that if you want to do something, you can't ask permission. You have to advocate on your own behalf, right?
Absolutely. And at 100%. Don't come to me talking about you want to open up the show. You ain't got no concept together, no music together. Right. You know what I mean?
Right. So I have to say that was very insightful for you guys, especially back then, to really take that initiative, because nobody was really doing that, you know? Yeah.
At that time, I mean, that's why I can appreciate bands like Snarky Puppy. Like, you know, they took it to a whole nother level, no comparison at all. But when you see a bunch of guys come together like that know each other and create music, it's a beautiful thing.
It is. And I always found that interesting. Like, I believe as a career musician, right, according to what I call it, you have a choice. You can either go down that artistry path or you can go down the side person path, right? You know, being a sideman, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I started as a sideman and then later on discovered, oh shit, I'm an artist. What am I doing? You know, I got to be true to that too. So talk about that from your perspective, because obviously you've dabbled in both.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's funny you bring that up now because this whole COVID situation and thing that we're in, of course, we're in a creative mode and do-it-yourself mode. So I've been touring for like 26 years, bro, just playing behind other people. But in the last about 3 years, and especially really the last 6 years with BFM World coming into play, I'm learning how that I'm the artist. I'm the artist of my management. I'm the artist of my schedule. I'm the artist of who I play with. I'm the artist of, I'm the focal point for me. And then I have many branches that I do. So my mentality had to change, man. It's such a beautiful thing.
Right. Well, your mentality definitely changed successfully. I mean, you flipped it, and you're definitely using all of your experience, you know, to benefit your movement now, what you're pushing now. Like you said, BFM World. By the way, beautifully done. Like, crushing it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Absolutely. You. I mean, I feel like we're getting like right into it. There's so many things I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'll follow you.
Cool. All right. So, because I want to get there, I want to really dive into that. And one of the biggest concepts is teaching musicians that they have to have that confidence, that self-confidence. And I'm looking at all of your information, and that's the main thing I'm seeing, that confidence, build, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's the root of everything. You can take it outside of the music business for a second. Right. You know what I mean? It's just what you need to have as a human and having passion. You got to have the confidence, but not false confidence, like research enriched confidence. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what you're doing in any type of setting, confidence. I'm nervous, but I know this thing, so I'm going to be okay. You know what I mean?
Oh, see, that's brilliant. I always say there's a fine line between arrogance and confidence. Right?
Absolutely.
So I like what you said too, how I'm nervous. You're admitting that to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm nervous all the time, bro. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. I'm not really dwelling on, well, I did this in the past, so you should respect me for now. That only goes but so far, right? You still got to show and prove. So I get nervous, but then I just think about, okay, I know how to feel music. I know what this artist wants. I know what I'm trying to paint. I have all the tools. I know the roadmap. I have all of these things, so I'm okay.
Right. So important, man. So important. So when you're starting out, you're in Philly. I'm sure you started playing with a lot of big names around Philly, because that's such a rich music city right there, right?
So at that particular time I was growing up, those were names that were trying to make a name for themselves. You know what I mean? So it was cool to see the evolution, like James Porter being like one of my best friends, you know, and to see his evolution and seeing Questlove, that's the homie from the crib. It's like, whoa, look at the roots now. Look at Jill. Wow, little Jilly from Philly. Look at her. She's a rock star. So it was a lot of people that were on their hustle that became very successful, and that was the best part about seeing that is I got to see their grind and what they really put into being who they are.
Right, right. Now, was it just organically that you got to be on these bills with people just from being around them, like you said, growing up in the hood together, or did you make a concerted effort to say, "I'm going after this gig"?
It was a little of both. So being from Philadelphia, we had the whole Philadelphia sound at that time, the whole
Right.
East Coast, behind the beat, all that swag. We had that popping. So if you could think back then, doing something like Christina Aguilera was totally different from my setting. Doing something like Aaliyah and Genuine was totally different from the house. So yeah, it was a little bit of both. Like, those guys put me in positions to play on Eric Benet's record. Oh, cool, that's dope. Get to meet music and to hang around and all of that. But there was a certain point where I wanted to pursue another lane, and I had to go get it.
Right. Let's talk about the concept that a lot of young cats coming up, they're always saying, "Yeah, hook me up with a gig, man. Put me on." How do you approach that when people come to you in that kind of manner?
Man, if you really my close homeboy, I'm gonna say, man, that's like asking a girl for a kiss without taking her out, bro. It's like, how do you even do that, bro? Like, listen, it's not to be mean, it's not to be selfish, it's not to be spiteful, but to be quite honest, the people in those positions know what it takes to be in those positions. And it ain't just playing. It's a lot of different areas. And so that's where my hesitation comes. I almost feel like if I hook my friend up with a gig that he's asking for, I feel like I'm throwing him to the wolves. I feel like I'm doing him a disservice because I know he don't have all the things to deal with, long rehearsals, pay being cut without you knowing, but still have to perform to the best of your ability. Like, these are mental things that could paint a bad picture for you throughout your career, so.
And having to keep you cool while all that's going down in the background, right?
Mike, me before, bro, I'm a hothead. I'm flying off the handle, with stuff. But you know what? As I kept going and realizing, I'm like, you know what, bro? That's the way to tank yourself, for sure. That's
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and that's so funny because we're both cut from a similar cloth in that matter. Like, I'm ready to go. Yes. Especially back in the day, I was like, "What'd you say, motherfucker?" Like, exactly. And, experience teaches you otherwise.
It does, because I learned from mine. I went off, and I had a manager off to the side just viewing me from afar, and he didn't know that I was right for going off. I was right for going off. But what it painted to him was something else.
I don't want that guy in the gig anymore. Yeah, that's what he's thinking. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, dude. Okay. All right. So let's talk about this. When you first come out of school, or even graduate high school, graduate college, I don't care what it is, you're trying to establish yourself, and you need a credit card. But all the credit card companies say, you need some credit before I give you this card, right? So it's the chicken or the egg, right? Which comes first? It's a lot, again, going back to the young aspiring community, I hear a lot of people talk about that. Well, man, how am I supposed to, get into the business if nobody wants to give me a gig? So again, somebody saying that, what do you think are some of the first steps they can take?
I think that, and I have two perspectives. Mike, we grew up in an age where there wasn't any internet. There wasn't any social media. There wasn't any, I could post a video and tag Puffy, and depending on how dope it is, he might look at it. There wasn't nothing like that. So now that we live in a day like that, and a person is saying, give me a gig, I'm going to meet you halfway. Why don't you present something to me, right? Help me with my anxiety of hooking you up with my connect. How about that? You know what I'm saying? Help me to be a little relaxed. So if you're a drummer, go play a song. Show me how you can make the song feel good. How you can make it. Show me how you can execute the liveness of it, but keep the authenticity of the record. Let me hear that your drum sound great. Let me hear that you can tune your drum. Let me hear all of those things. So then I will take that confidence that you gave me, and I'll go to my connects and say, hey, I know this guy can do that, instead of showing me nothing and asking for everything.
Right. So in order to get your full endorsement, these are the steps that somebody would have to go through. And this is through experience. You've been down this road. You've done this before.
Listen, you know Rob Lewis ain't playing no games. He ain't, if you ain't coming right, yo, he gonna tell you.
I will never forget, man. It's so funny because you and Rob, by the time I came into the Babyface band, you and Rob already had an understanding. You guys and Ethan, you guys were all working. Like I said, the synergy was there. Right. But I went into another situation with Rob with another very high profile drummer like yourself, man. And this is before that drummer became super high profile.
Right.
But he lit into that drummer. Like, dude, if you don't give me exactly what the fuck I'm asking for, these subdivisions in this way with this feel, and when I don't fill until I tell you to fill, like.
Yo, but you know what? I used to look at that as like, Rob, yo, you so hardcore, bro. Yeah. But you know what he's actually doing? He was actually caring.
Yes, I agree.
He was actually caring because he could have just said, you know what, I'm going to take a loss on this one and I'm going to get another drummer in here tomorrow. Right. And it'd be straight. But he had the belief to light into him. So that's my whole thought of throwing people to the wolves. That's a great example. Like, put me on the gig. Okay, go do this gig with Rob Lewis. And you come back wanting to quit music altogether.
Yeah, I mean, I have similar stories with Ricky Minor too. That was, I mean, you know.
Oh my God.
I used to get so nervous walking into the room with Ricky. I'm like, oh shoot, I hope I don't screw it up today, you know, because he's gonna let you know. But that's what you need.
That's what you need. You gotta go through that. You know, somebody asking me what does it take to do a gig. I haven't done every gig, so I can't honestly answer that question. Each one is a different personality. You're gonna need something. So you have to go in it. Like you said, you need those things.
Right, right. Now, how do those high pressure situations, I mean, look, you've done a million of them now, but in the beginning or as you were coming up, how did you personally prepare for that? Did you have a little routine, a ritual that you did, or, you know? Yeah,
kind of like, you know, I grew up in the church, so I'm a firm believer on God and him helping me and having my back. And that's number one. Number two is my wife. Number three is my mother. And number four is really having a talk with myself when those high pressure situations are going on. I'm nervous, but I'm here. I'm here. I'm sitting in this position. And if I ever want to get to a position like this again, I got to conquer this. So my mental starts to take over. As far as playing, we do that. That's what we do. We could play however you want. So it's not the playing part. It's the psychological part of whoa, this is a high pressure situation.
That's right. And I feel like oftentimes you just have to tell yourself, okay, cool, stop the self-talk, you're fine.
Yeah.
Sit, like you said, get into position. Once the stage light hits or the recording light hits, it's fine. Everything is just dissipates, right? All that negative energy or that anxiety, you know, that neurotic energy.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. That's so cool. So I remember one time we were on tour in Japan with Babyface. And we were in the elevator and you just jumped in the elevator and you were like, yo, dude, I think I just got the call from Madonna, but I think I don't even got the call. I think I got the gig. Like, oh, it was like your second or third call. And by that time you were willing to talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
Because of course the first few calls we always keep quiet, you know?
Exactly.
The old saying goes, keep your hands close to your chest. You're playing hands, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember that, man. I wasn't sure, you know, even when they called, I'm like, yeah, right, stop playing. Like, but that was definitely an experience. And the fact that Babyface kind of gave me his blessing, you know, because they worked together. But that was a really big moment because we love Face, man. We was on the trenches on the same tour bus with Face, man, chilling, you know, like a band artist, like Eric Clapton and his boys.
Because he's such a cool dude. Yes. Yeah, he's an anomaly. He's not one of, you know, he doesn't have this crazy ego. Yeah.
Remember we used to have the bad singing competitions? It was like
that is hilarious.
Oh, but yeah, that was a great experience, man.
All right. So like you said, first of all, you had a good rapport with the person you're working with. You know, Kenny Babyface Edmonds at the time. He gives you his blessing. Because I think you had to leave the tour at some point. We weren't like touring. We were just more spot dates, but still.
Right.
So he tells you that you're good to go, man. I'm happy for you. And now you transition over to Madonna. Talk about that. What was that like? Because I think at that point, that was the biggest gig in your, on your resume at the point, right? Yeah.
Still is, and that experience was crazy, man. First of all, I was super grateful to be considered. I had the blessing from Steve Sadownik, who was the previous drummer, so that felt incredible. Who I highly respect, and he embraced me. And then Madonna, talking to Madonna for the first time, it's like
that had to be surreal. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm like, is this really Madonna? And she's like, yeah, it better be. I'm like, okay, this might be Madonna. But just the preparation for it, the mentality that she wanted to feel. She wants to talk to you and see what your personality is like, what you're built on, which I truly respect. When it came time for drum sets, I always tell this is a funny one. It came time for drum sets, we were doing like a spot date or a promo, a little short promo. So I said, I have a bunch of drum sets. What color would you like? And they said, well, send all the colors. So I got pictures of all the kids, sent them in, and then I got a direction that says, well, just send all of the kids to New York. We were rehearsing in New York. I'm like, I don't even know how to send all of I have a lot of drum sets. So next thing I know, my tech at the time collected all my kits, put them in a sea container. They shipped them to New York, and she picked from there. That was like the weirdest, craziest power thing I've seen.
How cool is that, man?
It was really cool.
I mean, that's awesome. Wow. Okay, so you're in New York. She picks a kit or several kits that she likes, I'm sure. You had more than one probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're rehearsing. What's that like? Now you're in the studio rehearsing.
Yeah, so with her, she's very personal with her crew and her people. She wants to talk to them. She talks about religion, family, life. She's very politics. She's very, which I really appreciated. Right. It helped my nerves. But she's into that, and she has ears, tonally, acoustic drum versus the trigger. Brian play an electric kick drum with your acoustic snare trigger and electric hi-hats, like different combinations of what she would feel. So it was really like attention to detail of her music. Once again, you never know what you're going to need depending on the artist that you work with, but she's very detailed into sonics.
I love that, man. So talk about the actual day. I'm guessing she wasn't there the whole day, right? That's typical rehearsals.
She's in every day. We have rehearsals with her, first with the band, the first part of the day, and then the second part of the day we'll record whatever we do and send it over to the dancers so that they can rehearse with her on the second part of the day. And I think that at that time it was 6 days a week.
Wow, so you guys just didn't go in as a band without her. She was always there.
She was always there.
Once again, now that's an anomaly because typically the artist doesn't always show up every day.
Yeah, she's the boss.
Wow.
What I mean? She wants to hear, and and it makes sense because whatever we create in the rehearsals, that if we record it, she wants to be able to dance to those changes, whatever changes she's made, and so she was there every day.
Right. Thank goodness you were behind the kit. You didn't have to worry about choreo.
Thank the Lord. They was trying. They said, Brian, I think we need you. I'm like, nah, come on.
No fair. That happened to me because I'm a guitar player. I'm like, oh, man, come on, really?
Exactly. Y'all getting it all the time.
Oh, man. Yeah. All right. So now let's talk about, again, prepping for that and being prepared because I love your preparedness. Again, when I first met you, you and I hit it off because you were the first one. It was either you or me, the first one down in the lobby ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
It was either you or me, the first one on the bus. So you or me, the first one at the airport or wherever. Like whenever the lobby call was, we were there 10, 15 minutes ahead of time. Sometimes you would beat me. You'd be there 30 minutes ahead of time. I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, hey, man, I got to get acclimated. I'm just chilling,
I'm just here.
Yeah. So I love that. And preparedness is such a big part of what we do. Because a lot, as the old saying goes, hurry up and wait, right?
Yes.
So you're in those rehearsals. How did you prepare gear-wise? Let's just talk about that first. You have all these kits, and what did you do on a regular basis? So when she called you out and said, hey, I want X, Y, Z, you need to facilitate that quickly.
Absolutely. So it's once again getting to know your artist. So I went through the door thinking just drums. All right, drums. And I have my triggers, so I'm okay with electronics if she want to do any of that. But I wasn't thinking djembe, bongos. I wasn't thinking she's world artist, bro. Like she'll do anything from a dance track to an acoustic track with just guitar and percussion, So I went into it prepared, talked to all my companies. I need a djembe, I need timbales, I need bongos, I need congas. Just trust me. I know it sounds like a lot, but just trust me. And anything I don't use, I'll send it back. But I need to have everything there. So that's how I prepared mentally, gear-wise. I tried to cover every basis possible that I thought she would ever ask for anything. And that's how we build the rack. Once we get in rehearsals and we see actually what we're using and what we're not, then it'll say, all right, let's complete the rack now.
Now the rack is the hardware system that encompasses all those instruments in one.
Yes.
Right. Now,
that has to meet certain specs for the stage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you build this elaborate kit that really needs a 10 by 10 riser, and they say, hey, buddy, you on an 8 by 8. What do? You got to cut down something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, did you guys have an A rig and a B rig?
For our gear, no. We just had an A rig. They had an A, B, and C rig, I think, for Pro Tools, and I think they had an A and B rig for the stage.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so if your guys' A rig wasn't there, they couldn't set up.
It's going to be a problem.
Wow. That's some serious logistical work there.
It is.
For the tour managers and whatnot. I mean, wow.
Yeah. When you hear truck drivers coming in saying, hey, man, truck number 32 was late. You be like, what truck was my stuff on? Like,
first of all, truck number 32. Like, how many damn trucks are there, man?
Exactly, right, exactly.
Wow. Okay. And again, not just for her gig, but for all your gigs, you develop a good relationship with your tech, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
So important, right?
I can't do it without them. I mean, a lot of times I try to give them the pub or magazine. We'll do magazine articles together. We'll do interviews together. I want people to know how involved they were in this finished product you see. So all of my techs, Chris Oxett, James J.R. Newkirk, Okwai Andrews, L. Boogie, EP, all of those guys I've developed amazing relationships with.
I love that. And thank you for shouting all of them out. That's so important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man,
I couldn't do anything without them, guys.
Right? You know what I'm saying? It's like a race car driver without his crew pit.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just not going to happen.
Nope.
And we're talking about these are the people that are the first ones in the venue and the last ones to leave.
Absolutely. When I used to see my tech in the afternoon, I got like a little 2-3 o'clock sound check, and I come in all happy,
right.
and I look at them, and they're like, "What you so happy about?" Right. I'm like, "Bro, what time did you get here?" I've been here since 5 o'clock. I'm like, "Jeez, you want a sandwich or something?"
A hot shower, a massage. What can I do for you?
What can I do for you, bro?
Can I book you a spa date?
Exactly.
So true, man. So true. And oftentimes, depending on the crew and the size and how quickly they move from venue to venue, they don't get hotel rooms like we do.
No.
The musicians. I mean,
don't have a back-to-back show. Going from Seattle, Washington to Dallas, Texas, it's a wrap. You're not getting a hotel.
Yeah, and they won't see sleep for at least no sleep. Yeah. It's like the Beasties, no sleep till Brooklyn or the next city, right?
Yeah. Shout out to all the hardworking techs out there. We love you.
Amen to that. I always say, look, treat your tech with the utmost respect and kindness. Yeah,
absolutely.
Amazing. All right, so now shifting from that particular tour or the bigger tours that you've done, because you've done quite a few, not just Madonna. when you're doing fly dates or spot dates, even if it's like a little tour, a tour bus thing, but it's maybe only a weekend, how do you prepare for that? What kind of rig are you bringing, and how do you shrink it down so it's manageable?
So my rig, I have different rack designs, but the pieces in there are pretty consistent. 3 up, 2 down, 3 snares. It's pretty much my same setup. So I try to facilitate what I need. Of course, if I'm not using all of that for the gig, I'll cut down. But if I'm doing a spot date and it's a hour-and-a-half show, then I'm going to call Pearl. I'm going to tell them where I'm going to be, and I'm going to say, hey, what do you have in that area? And they'll say, we have this. And I'll say, okay, we'll do it on stands or we'll do it on rack. I'll go to my tech. Do you want to build something or you want stands? Let's just do stands. All right, fine. I probably will do stands. I'm still hands-on behind the scenes way before the gig. Cymbals, sticks, custom drum heads. What triggers do we have in that city? I'm very hands-on with that.
I love that. I would say, but you're still orchestrating all of this.
Absolutely.
Instead of just telling your tech, oh man, just handle it.
Oh no, my techs be calling me like, yo, can you call such and such, man, and get them? I'll be like, yo, I got you. Hold up. Yo, send this, man. I need it. Like,
Perfect transition. Let's talk about the big E word for a lot of musicians, especially those up and coming. They're always trying to get the big endorsement. Man, how do I get the gear deal? Now, I went to your website several times. You have every single kind of gear deal, endorsement deal you can get. Let's talk about that. That's brilliant. I've had quite a few over my years. It seems like drummers have the biggest, type of deals because you guys have so much stuff. You need a lot of different things.
Yeah, so many different departments.
Man, what's your philosophy on that? How did you go about it? How do you maintain that?
I think that one of the biggest misconceptions about endorsements is your self-skill level equals free gear. That is not always true. It's not 100% untrue. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but it's not always true. This is a business. They're a business. They need something out of the deal. And even though that gear is given to you for free, there's a price tag on that somewhere inside that company, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 of gear that they're giving away to you for free. So that's just first and foremost for anyone listening on that. Second of all is being involved with the company, knowing their gear. Nothing is more satisfactory than going to a rep and saying, hey man, your 20-ply snare drums. What's the bearing edges on those? Are those double 45 or 45? Because I think they're double 45 because how the tone sounds when you put the head. Nothing is better than going to a company like that and they're looking at you. They're behind the desk all day. They know these specs.
Right.
You're a player. You know the specs. Oh man, I like this kid. So it's so many different ways. You can use the way of, hey, I'm good. Give me an endorsement. You could use the way of relationships. Hey man, what do you think about this? Or I noticed this about this. You can use it social media, advertising, promoting the gear, going back to what we talked about before. Promoting the gear so people can hear how it sounds, especially now in COVID. These companies are eating up. If you have any promo, please send it to us.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
It's perfect time to become an asset with endorsements, but I just don't believe because you can play fast or a lot of things, you should be given an endorsement, especially if you don't know the gear.
Man, you could say that 10 times over and it still wouldn't be enough. Like, there's no truer statement than that when it comes to getting the endorsement deals. It's a symbiotic relationship. It truly is.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And it should be.
That's right. That's right. So you have to give back to the company.
You have to. I get a lot of flack about, and I talk about this. My companies know how I am. At one company I went to, I came through the door. I know my worth. I'm feeling confident. And I say, put me on payroll. I want to be on payroll because I know that such and such used to get on payroll. And I know that person used to get on. And I said, I'm out here in front of all of these audiences playing the gear, advertising for you. I was feeling myself, right? And the guy told me some things that changed my whole perspective. He said, B, listen, I know that you're out there playing in front of thousands of people, and we appreciate it. But it's not like we get a mad rush for everybody to go buy the drum set that you played at the show when you was on tour with Madonna. You know, we don't really get a lot of calls for them to buy that drum set. So listen, we want to work with you. We'll give you whatever you need, but your expectation on what you should get is not based on something that's real. Wow. And it changed my whole perspective. Now, I didn't stop my hustle.
Nope.
But it changed my whole perspective, you know. So even the payroll thing, that was a grandfather. Some companies, those guys were grandfathered in to cover them until 20 whatever their contract says.
Right.
But because sales for a year are going down, they're not so open to just give away money for advertising because they're not making any money off the current advertising they're doing anyway. Hey, this is Brian Frasier-Moore, and I'm a career musician.
Follow The Career Musician on Facebook and Instagram to stay up to date on the latest news and get tips from the world's leading musicians.
Being a career musician is more than just gigs and sessions. Are you a career musician? Find out on the Career Musician Podcast, streaming everywhere.
Just thoughts in your head for people to think about so you're not so locked into entitlement endorsement. You know what I mean?
That's right. And really, like you said, doing the research, understanding the market, understanding the reality of what today's industry looks like.
Absolutely.
Compared to back then.
Even on my signature snare, which is out with Pearl.
I was going to ask you that next, yeah.
Yeah, I came into the situation and I learned. I had a snare before, so I kind of knew what the percentages was. You know, people could talk all day about what they make on signature products. Okay, I'm here to tell you the truth. It's not a large number. It is not a large number. So I had to rethink it, knowing the system. I had to rethink it and say, you know what? I'll be a distributor for my snare drum because Sweetwater gets how much? How much does Sweetwater get if they distribute your snare drum? They get this percentage. Big difference from just the artist percentage, now you're distributor. So I said, I want to do a distributor's deal. Well, is your company incorporated? Yes, BFM World is incorporated. Then we need your seller's permit. Not a problem. Here's my seller's permit right here. So I can put my logo inside my snare drum so they won't get in trouble. And now my percentage is bigger. So knowing the system and not just saying, you ought to give me, but learning the system and being able to maneuver through it, hey man, I'll take that any day.
But see, you didn't handle that like a musician. You handled that like a businessman.
Absolutely.
And that is one of the things that I feel is broken within our industry. Musicians don't think of themselves as business people.
They should, bro.
It's a business.
It's a business. It's a very demanding and popular business.
Right. So the way you dealt with that was beautiful. Now, you did the research. You figured out your seller's permit. Of course, you're incorporated. And I say, of course, because if you're listening to this podcast and you don't know that you need to be, then you need to go listen to 99 more episodes because I say it almost every damn episode. Incorporate, for crying out loud. How did you handle the logistics of the distribution process then? Do you have a small warehouse? What did you have to set up? How are you doing that?
So they were, this company that I did it with, they were very generous in understanding that and that they would take care of the shipping even though I sell it through my website.
Gotcha.
So any orders that I get through my website, I will then take care of the money, split up the money. Here's yours. Here's mine. Here's the address. Here, have a nice day. They ship it. So I thank them for agreeing to do that. Otherwise, I would have had to do like you said, get a whole bunch of them here, set up the shipping, make sure, the spreadsheet to keep everything clean. So, but
still, you would have done it either way. So,
either way.
It's like the drop shipping movement with Amazon, right? It was like, you into drop shipping? Yeah. So it's actually a win-win situation. It works out beautiful. Yeah. That is killer. Have you ever had an artist, especially a higher profile artist, say to you, you know what? I don't want your usual setup. I want kick, hat, and snare. Yeah. And what's your first reaction? What do you do?
Inside, okay, my first inside reaction is, yo, this is my stuff, bro. You know what I'm saying? You telling me what to do on my thing. I don't tell you how to sing. But my outside one, after I have that moment in my head, my outside one says, "You a G, Brian. Can't nobody throw nothing at you that's going to trump you. He don't play drums. She don't play drums. You play drums." So that confidence has to kick back, and I say, "Man, what you need? Snare kick and hi-hat? I got you." And then I'll bring a kick drum back with a custom head on it with their face on it, just to show you, I got this, bro. I do this, bro.
That's my point. Always say yes with a smile, right? Yeah. And deliver way beyond expectations.
Way beyond, blow their heads off. Yeah. Exactly.
I love that. All right. We talked about gear quite extensively. When you go on tour, and I know right now we're in a holding pattern on touring, I truly believe it's going to come back. It might be a little different, but it's going to come back, right?
Yep.
When you do get ready for tour, aside from gear, any other essentials, packing, peripheral items? Again, do you have any kind of like little ceremonial things that you do? Oh, I have to have this book with this set of headphones, or anything, any tips?
Yeah,
insight there.
When before prepping for a tour, I'm totally into the music. That's my one thing. I'm diving into it, trying to understand why this music is so good. Every song I don't think is good, but I'm still trying to find out why it's so good, because that's where I need to be. So I'm heavily engrossed in the music. I'm heavily engrossed in the setup of my kit, all the things I need. Pearl, I need this. Sabian, I need this. I'm behind the scenes building the whole tank. And then once I get out there, I'm on a regiment every day, waking up in the morning, talking to my wife, going to walk or run for a couple of miles, come back, get some breakfast or work out first before I go, come back, get some breakfast, listen to some music, answer some emails, get juiced up on my music in the room for the day. Yeah. By the time I leave that hotel, I'm ready for war. I'm ready for it to happen.
I love it. And it's so important that I say this all the time. You have to have a routine. If you don't have a routine and you just go out there on the road and you just play it by ear, so to speak,
it might not work out as good as if you had a steady routine to enrich your body, your soul, and your mind to get prepared for what's about to happen physically and mentally.
That's right. Now, how did you prepare when you were younger, especially? Did you learn a lot of this going along the way, or were you always kind of knew, no, this is my regiment, this is what I'm going to do? I mean, I'm sure there's some balance and learning along the way, right?
Yeah, I would say a little bit of both. When I was younger, I was just ready to go. I was like
we all are, yeah.
Yeah. We got to go to sound check. It's 2:45. I'm still over here drinking. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. But as I got older and started seeing how to preserve your body on the road, how to preserve your mind, how to keep home intact and split up your time in a way that you can be there for home as well as what's happening on the road, like you learn to put a little schedule together.
Right, like while you're on the road, you have to make time to connect with everybody at home.
Absolutely, and look,
so
3:30 to 4:30, you can't connect with me because I'm in sound check. So
right,
I need to make that a little earlier or a little later.
Right. And how do you deal with those sound checks that last, unfortunately, like marathons?
Oh my God! I just, you start to compare your musicality to the person's musicality on why this rehearsal is so long. You start to go like, hey, this is not hard. Why are you not getting this? Why is this? You go through that. But a lot of times if that pops in my head, then I go to being a team player. I'm here to be a team player. So team player means I got to wait for my brother to get his part. Once he get his part, and once they get their part, so they got to wait for me to get my part. How about that? You know what I'm saying? So I have to think team when I'm in those rehearsals, or else human will pop up somewhere.
Right. Instead of pointing fingers,
you're thinking, absolutely.
You got to zoom out.
Absolutely. It's about the whole team, and we need this to make it strong.
And now you've been an MD on several situations, right? Yeah, absolutely. So I think the best MDs are musicians first. They just start as sidemen, so to speak, right? Because now you know what it's like to be on both sides of the fence.
Exactly.
Because as the MD, your first priority is the artist.
Yes.
Your next priority is the band. So talk about that and how you delegate and how you like to run rehearsals in those situations.
I like to with first of all, the people that I pick them according to knowing that I don't have to worry about things. Right. You know, that's just it. Well, personality wise and retention, execution, authenticity, all of these things, I pick them according to who I don't have to worry about. So if I get in rehearsal and the artist is taking too long, but I know I got my people over here who have already prepared, you know, I become the liaison. I have to become the, I don't want to say babysitter, but I have to become the person in between that keeps them okay and keeps them okay pushing so we can get the artist okay. So you kind of become this in-between person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You feel for the artists because they're the artists and it's their show and they're paying everybody. And what can you do? But these are your people that you trust and you know you trust their musicality and you don't want to wear them out. So I kind of play in between to keep everyone happy.
Right. We have to be the mediator. That's essentially, right? Yeah. Yep. And then you have the crew to keep in mind. Because if the production staff doesn't have the stage ready with monitors that have been wrung out and with ear lines, IEMs that have been, you know, tweaked and dialed in, now you just added a couple more hours to this, you know.
Yeah. Exactly. That's when you ask yourself, why am I in this meeting right now? Right. Like, why am I here? This is not even my world. You know what I mean? But you have to insert yourself for the benefit of the team.
That's right. I always say, like, I had to have a really good rapport with the production manager. So that way the PM knows, look, they can call me anytime, day or night, any issues, and then I could check in with them throughout the day. Hey, how are we looking on that 2 p.m. sound check? Are we still good?
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
Because that's the other thing. If the itinerary says 2 p.m. band call, the band's there and waiting, but then all of a sudden they're not ready and you can't get on stage till 3:30. Now you just sucked a lot of energy out of that band, right?
A whole lot, man. Yeah. You know what kind of personalities I have to deal with at 3:30 now? Like,
right. Oh, some angry people. And I know I used to be the first one, like, man, why the hell are we here so early? We're not ready. We just got to sit here and do this. You know, but now, again, you learn over experience. You know what? Take that time and repurpose it for something else.
Absolutely.
Get something constructive done, right?
Exactly.
So learning how to just, you know, bob and weave with the flow, right?
Oh, so good. Adam Blackstone, let me tell you, this guy right here, he is the master of that, bro. I'm just being honest. Like, I just watch him and everyone loves him. You see the production people and the art. Adam! Hey, Adam, good to see you. The TV people. Hey, my man, Adam. I'll be like, bro, how do you do it?
That's right. He's like the beloved mayor of every production. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's definitely a feat and it's a gift, you know.
It is a gift.
For sure. Now, you've worked with Adam quite a bit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Talk about some of those scenarios, because TV is a whole nother thing. And, you know, I want to make sure that the listeners really understand how much time, energy, and money goes into that, but also the value of your patience and being a team player.
Absolutely. I mean, it really dictates everything. Like television, constantly changing. This bumper needs to be 40 seconds. Oh, no, we got to cut it down to 27 seconds. It doesn't even make sense musically, 27 seconds. Well, you got 27 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, things just change, and we need you to pre-record this. And no, we need to play this live, and here's the arrangement, and here's that. Oh, Brian, do you have a gong drum? Because now they're thinking about a gong drum. What? A gong drum? Yeah. Adjust it. You know what I'm saying? It's like whatever you can imagine. So going back to what you were saying, being able to bob and weave and with excellence, you know what I'm saying? With not with that attitude, half-ass excellence, but to execute with excellence. I watch Omar Edwards, how he executes when Adam is MD and Omar's an MD, and I just watch, and Adam be like, hey, I need you to play this part, such and such, and Omar's immediately like, oh, hold on, let me find the sound. Like, there's no thought, bro.
Right.
We're a team, so a lot of the television stuff happens like that, when especially when you're live, when it's live TV. It's no taking it back.
That's right. Now, and that's kind of the opposite. When you're on a live TV set, or really any TV set, everybody has to be there from the first thing in the morning. So
Absolutely.
Typically a minimum TV day is 12 hours at least.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. And if you're only doing, like, let's just say you're on a television show, like we did last night. The Billboard Awards came on and was on there with Aaliyah. And
Right.
I'm thinking, as I'm watching it, I'm thinking about how long that day was. Like, but the segment was like 3 minutes. And that was like a full day, bro. You know what I mean? So.
Let's talk about that, since that's fresh in your mind. Thank you for bringing that up, actually. I think I called you a couple weeks ago and you were doing something else for Aaliyah, too.
Yeah.
So Alicia Keys, for listeners, just in case, talk about that. So the day before, several days before, again, you're prepping your rig, you're prepping all the logistics.
Yeah.
You get an itinerary, and then you jump on that. So, tell us about that.
Absolutely. It's the same method. I want to be thorough with what the kit is. If we're using the kit from Center Stage, and I'll call Center Stage and say, which kit is it? Is it the black kit? Yeah, we got the black kit. You got these here? Yeah, we got them. I call my tech. Hey, Center Stage has everything. Just make sure you touch base with them. Woo. I got the music. Adam is sending in the music. All right, bet. Okay. We pre-recording or we playing it live, whatever it may be. I go to work. Triggers. Adam always wants trigger sound. So I have this method of taking the MP3, separating the drum separating the drum track, finding a clean snare and kick, chop it, take it out, put it on the kit. Now I'm authentically what the song is. So all of this preparation happens before we even get together.
I love that. Are you able to get the stems a lot of times so that you can have those sounds?
So I have a little secret, and I won't tell everything, but
okay.
Ultimately I will have the original sounds.
Right. Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very important. Yeah.
Yeah. Very super. We were rehearsing for a show with Adam, and it got canceled because of COVID. And it was a lot of music. I'm talking hundreds of pieces of music, and a lot of music. And so I used that method with that because it was top 40 stuff, Living on a Prayer, like all kind of old stuff. So I got a whole bank of all of those sounds, man. And I just keep them because you never know.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. You have to. You always have to be ready. Again, going back to that preparedness, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
I love it. All right. So now let's separate all of that preparation with a different kind of preparation and a whole skill set. Again, going back to business acumen. How do you interface with management and teams from that perspective?
Yeah. Very thought out.
Thank you.
Very, very, very thought out to the finest detail, because we don't live in the same worlds.
Right.
We can't take for granted that they understand our road, and we surely don't understand all the ways in their roads. So very carefully, skillfully thought out. If I want something, I'm going to present every reason, fact based, benefit of the team based, to be able to get what I need. So it's very the opposite of I'm me, I'm me, and I do this. It's very opposite because they're business people.
That's right. Did you have a mentor with things like negotiating and things like that, or did you just kind of learn as you go along?
I learned as I went along, man.
Yeah,
just being around people and checking out how people are. You learn to stop pointing fingers at other people. If you really check out how they are, you can't have an expectation on how a person is. So forget that part. And learning how they are gives you the tools to be able to communicate where they are instead of trying to get them to change to where you are, if that makes any sense. So
it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, going to management, I've bust my behind. I've went in wrong and got cursed out. I've got refused of money. All of these things happen, and then something starts to click. Like, you know what? Maybe this is not the right approach.
Right. Absolutely. It's so funny because I've been in this situation a couple times in the higher profiles where the management, the first thing they say to you is, okay, what do you want? And you're like, on the phone, well.
Yeah. Can we just talk about that for a second? It's like the person that's saying, man, I deserve. You need to give me. And when you're faced with a question, when you get with those type of managers and those people, and they say, what do you want? And you stumble, no.
That's it. They got you now.
It's over. You might as well just take $2 a week. It's over.
I don't even know if this story is true, but I've heard it a couple times, like the old, this little old, proverb type thing. Bob Dylan, says to his band, tell me how much you want to get paid. So the guitar player, puts in his number, and the drummer puts in his number, and the drummer's like, yeah, man, it's so cool that Bob's paying us $10,000 a week, and the guitar player is like, I'm only getting 2,000. It's like, So they go back to Bob, and the guitar. Well, why did I asked you what you wanted? You said you wanted 2,000, so I gave you 2,000.
Oh no! You better know your worth, boy. You better do your research.
And that's the key: being prepared, doing the research.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you have people that you can talk to, call them up, in confidence.
Absolutely.
But if you don't, then just do some research.
Gotta do some research because you never know. You like, 2,000, and you think because you ain't do your research, Bob Dylan?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
No.
Come on.
You gotta do some research because
he was probably paying that back in the 60s. But then that brings me to the golden rule that I always say about money: never talk about money ever to nobody except your business manager and your spouse, right? Like
exactly.
Keep your mouth shut and just do your job.
Yep, and leave it at that.
Yeah,
leave it at that. I agree.
Yeah, especially in this day and age, first of all, we're all independent contractors, which means we independently negotiate on our own behalf.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I always used to say to a manager who actually became a very good friend of mine, look, when you talk to me about business and money, you're not talking to the nice musician guy. Oh yeah, hey, I'm just happy to play and no, you're talking to my manager. That's my alter ego.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And he's thorough.
Yeah, that's right.
He's thorough, man. Because I remember one time somebody told me I would go out on tour. I would have my own drums. I would have my own cases, my triggers, the heads, sticks. I'll have everything. And they were like, are they paying for that? And I was like, what do you mean? It was like, you a complete package, bro. Are they paying for that? Or is all of that come under the drummer rate? And I was like, wait a minute.
Ooh, yeah.
Stop the press. You know what I mean? So just knowing, I didn't know. I had no idea, but just knowing can put you in a better position.
So true. So true. Have you ever had to sub out on a gig?
Yes.
How do you handle that?
So someone coming in to sub for me?
Yeah, like you saying, oh man, you know what? There's a conflict. Because first of all, when that conflict hits our calendar, we're like, oh, we get nervous in general.
Exactly. Well, I had Mike Reed come out and sub for me because I was getting married on Justin Timberlake, the Legends of the Summer Tour. So I was getting married, and so Mike, he came. Man, shout out to Mike Reed. Look, he came through and did the thing, and we all know he can play. Mike Reed can play, but think about it. He had to come in on my drum set with 42 patches in the show, learn where all of them go, learn when you're supposed to switch, just really learn everything. What songs have triggers on the snare? What song had trigger on the small snare? What song has the snap on it? He had to learn all of that. So I think we were about a good month in every day just talking and going through
I see.
it. I'm very hands-on with anybody that subs for me because first of all, I want them to win. And second of all, I want the account to win.
That's right. Because what you're doing is ensuring that you keep that relationship intact.
Absolutely.
With all parties, basically. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know some people that say, yeah, my man came and subbed for me. I said, did you get with him? Did you make sure you're straight? He said, nah, he got it. I'm like, he ain't never been around them people in his life, bro.
Right.
How does he have it?
And all the nuances that go along with each different situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Man, so true, so true. Have you ever had to say no thank you to a gig, and how do you do that?
I have. I do it with all respect, and I do it with a fact-based reason instead of a personal reason. Mm-hmm. So always keep it business. You know, even though the money might have been low and it was super disrespectful, even though I just didn't want to work with that person, whatever it may be, I'll give a fact-based reason so that we can keep it business.
That's good advice.
Yeah, and even if most of the time, if I can't do something, if I said I could do something and I can't, then I'll come to them with a replacement that I already kind of prepped for the situation. Right.
I love it. All right. You've shared with us a lot of your principles and methods through this whole interview, which, like I said, I love it. We have such a good synergy in that regard. Any words of wisdom in closing? You know, look, if it's a young person trying to make it in the game, get to your level, or even if it's somebody who's been doing it but still wants to branch out and do more.
Absolutely. I mean, for all of those who are trying to do it or who have done it or have been doing it and is looking to go to different levels, first and foremost, I say keep doing it, keep pushing, that you can do it. That's first and foremost. So to that self-doubt that's inside of you that's saying, man, I can't do it because I'm not this type of musician or I'm not that type of person. You can do it. You can do it. All you have to do is research, spend that time with yourself. All right. I equate things to drummers a lot because I'm a drummer. So if you know there's a style that you want to play and you want to get into the Nashville scene, you want to get into that sound of playing, then you got to research and you got to spend time with yourself so that you can eat and digest that whole method. So give yourself time. It's going to be okay. Research and give yourself time, and you'll be on your way there. But don't be quick and give up. Oh, I can't get this. Yeah. So it's not meant for me. You know what I mean? So,
that's so true. And like you said, back in the day when we came up, we didn't have the internet and social media. No. Now it actually presents, you know, a situation that's better with more pros, but also cons.
Yeah.
Right? It's like if you don't have X amount of followers, then now you're kind of, you know.
Yeah. Well, I tell a lot of my clients, you know, as far as social media is concerned, it's the main highway, right? You got people going on social media to find out who's passed away or what the numbers in the COVID is versus watching CNN. Everyone's going to social media to get information. So now put something out there. Put a hip hop song out there and let them see how authentic you are to that. Put a bluegrass song out there and let them see how authentic. Put a straight ahead song. Build your audience within yourself first instead of expecting your audience just to grow with the same old you. You know.
There you go. I love it. You know what? And a really quick side tangent here. We didn't talk about anything music, as it were. I love the fact that you just mentioned several different genres. Talk about versatility and what you did to prepare yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, it's lanes. You want to be everywhere or you just want to be one place. Right. Denzel Washington said, you want to go to jail or you want to go home? What you want to do? If you want to be everywhere, then get in every style of music that's going to be everywhere. It's only going to help you. Reading charts, orchestral music, film score, commercials, artists, like do it all.
That's right. I love it, man. And tell us about BFM World.
BFMworld.com. You can go there anytime. We have consultations about the music business. We give you new perspectives, new ways to think. You're running into the same old walls. I've been doing this for 10 years. Let's change it up now. Let's give you some real insight on how the industry is, how the machine works, So we have consultations, we have private lessons, video lessons, we have video consultations, we have podcasts, we have clothing, we have signature snares, signature sticks. Just go to bfmworld.com. There's a bunch of stuff there that you might find interesting.
I love that, man. That's awesome. And actually, I want to figure out a way for us to do like a webinar clinic together, you know?
Yeah.
A masterclass. Yeah.
Let's do it. I'm down.
I love that. The Career Musician featuring Brian Frasier-Moore. That's going to be dope. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'll be in touch about that. All right. To wrap it up, you mind some rapid fire questions?
Let's do it.
All right. Favorite food?
Vegan.
Wow. How long you been vegan?
I've been vegan for about 1.5 years now.
Nice. That's good. That's good. Favorite adult beverage?
Cream soda. Oh, adult beverage. That's, since I'm a vegan, that's adult beverage.
Right.
Casamigos and orange juice.
There you go. Casamigos is tequila. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
Favorite sport?
I'm not a big sport person at all. But if I had to pick one, I would say basketball.
There you go. How do you spend your free time, assuming you have some?
With my wife, just doing regular things, watching movies. When we were able to be outside, we would go to theaters a lot. We love the theater. Lion King, Chicago. I'm a big fan of all of that stuff.
Oh, there you go. Very nice. Very nice. Do you prefer to drive yourself or be driven?
Drive myself.
And what do you do on those long flights?
Music, sleep, eat, get off the plane.
I like it. What's the last song, band, or artist you've listened to that you had no professional affiliation with?
The Bee Gees, that was yesterday.
Nice.
I was into the Bee Gees heavy because of their drum sounds, bro.
Right.
Yes.
That thuddy 70s sound?
Yeah.
It's like quack. It's like, it's thick. You could cut it with a knife, it sounds like, right? Like,
it's so present too, boy.
Oh, right. And present at the same time.
Yeah.
That's cool. Shopping, online or brick and mortar?
Online.
Okay. So even post-COVID, pre-COVID, online.
Yeah, I'm an Amazon freak.
There you go. All right. You've collaborated with a lot of people, bro. But if you had one that hasn't happened yet, who would it be?
Sting.
Nice. And finally, what would you do if you weren't a career musician?
I think I would either be something in the legal field, attorney, something like that, or probably selling drugs.
Yeah. I mean, the lot bit that I know you, I definitely see the attorney. Yeah. I see that. Yeah. I don't think you'd be happy in the drug game for too long.
Well, you know what? I've been watching Ghost and Power and all of that, so excuse my answer.
I get it. Hey, man, I love Narcos. Come on. And I'm half Cuban, so dude, come on, like
you already know.
You speaking my language, man. Jeez. That's a whole nother crazy life. All right, man. Brian, thank you so much, man. You crushed it. We're so happy to have you on The Career Musician.
Man, thank you, man. Y'all doing a great thing over here. I'm honored to be. I've been checking y'all out for a minute. So y'all got a lot of great people on here. So thank you for having me.
Download, subscribe, and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcast platforms.
Making music is easy. Making money in music is not. Join Nomad as he talks about the ups, downs, and turnarounds of the music biz.
I'm just a nomad, nowhere man, writing the songs in this one-man band. A nomad, yeah, I'm a nomad. Hush now, darling, you'll be fine. I'll be back this way.
Hey, this is Nomad, host and creator of the Career Musician Podcast, and I am thoroughly stoked to be an official member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Pantheon Podcast Network is the first of its kind as an all-music-based podcast collective. Please be sure to check us out at pantheonpodcast.com for more info.